Okay, we are headed out to Mount Tam. There it is. The San Francisco Bay is to the left. That is Mount Tam in the middle. We're going to drive out Highway 101. We're going to go over the left flank of it there, which is the ocean side. And that's Mount Tam. It's about as clear as it gets these days. So you're lucky to look this far across it because it gets worse as the population grows.
It's like a bronze. There's Mount Tam right there.
Okay, welcome back to the quest. We're hunting details and anything else lost on the beach. So, got the Garrett. Meeting my mom out here, and we're at the California coast at a beach. Here we go. These are ceanothus, a California native that's in bloom right now. This one's hedged up a little because it's at the entrance of a bridge, but they're all over the hills right now. There's actually a white one too that everybody calls buckbrush. But same thing. First signal is was reading up in 86, and it's a quarter. US 25-cent piece. It's a good start. Just got a car. Pretty cool car. Well, that one got me. Hunting a bunch of garbage, not showing you that. It's going to be a long day. I'll do some live digs a little bit on. But thick brass beat up grommet thingy. Sounded like gold. So many different signals, I just play the odds.
Oh, and this, but you can tell from the signal that this
it kind of differentiates, but there's be things like it that are trash that give you the same signal, but like fish. There are 8 and 10s just roll in one after the other with perfect little gaps between them. It's one of those days. It's been raining, the sun's out, and then it'll be raining again. So it's a little muddy. The sharks are here, but I just found a real silver spoon. We'll try and look at what it says later, but it's got what looks like a family crest or something on there. That is really awesome. Now I gotta try and pack it and preserve it. It's so good. Spoon! Piece of jewelry today. Looks like it was a owl locket. See a little hinge there, and might be silver. It was ringing up good, but it's round too. I haven't seen the marks yet. Alright, pretty cool. And that one's probably
Hard time knowing. We'll check it later. What? Rang like a bell. solid copper bell.
Look, I found the key to home, but there's nothing cut into it. So, it's the story of my life. It doesn't go anywhere. That's what we were looking for. Just pulled that out of the ground. That's what we came back for. Check it out. With the button, so it came out of cloth too. I'm having a blast. It's a killer hunt. We've been here all day, but yeah. Okay, back to it. Okay. More. So this is a whole different style because this one's got a ring to it. But it's the eagle again. Wow. I'm kind of awestruck. Look at it go. Another one. The whole thing washed up, I guess, and everything that was on it. It's still here. But the cloth is gone. They all still have the pins in the backs. people are just thinning out, the wind is just dying down, and the tide is just getting low. Yeah, pockets full of goodies. I'm pretty happy. Been kind of all work and no play, so sorry I didn't do too much, telling and more showing. There's the city on down south there, San Francisco. We're gonna go until dark and then go home. I was told they spread Janus droppings ashes off of the bench up there. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I was told. It's a penny. Okay, I just dug this. It's the only way I can present it. We're working our way out, and it is a ring. So that's our second ring of the day. Looks like it might be silver. It's in good condition. We look on the inside. Hang on one second. Not sure about that one. I don't see a mark on the inside. We'll have to give it a closer look and test it. But it doesn't look like stainless, it looks more like silver. Could be pot metal. Well, I gave him my headlamp, so I guess that was my mistake. We may never leave the beach. Maybe the batteries will wear out and something. Off into the night.
Today was my first day with my Ace 300. It was a delight. Beach hunting is harder than I thought. I found some heavier metals here. A lot of, even though I had on my discrimination, I still came up with quite a few heavy pieces of whatever metals. The usual pile of aluminum, all ghost hunts, a lot of nails from the fires and people burning wood, the usual suspects here. That looks like a little bear, but it's actually just a piece of metal. This thing right here was a miniature thin lighter, I think, at one time. Very interesting. 2 cars, one mostly there, and one just the bottom.
What's the bottom of the red car? Is it a Hot Wheel?
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright. And then a lovely bell, it looks like, that
Nice.
has excellent tone. And Melanie's dental assistant tag. Contact Quest for details if you're Melanie. A nice fishing lure. Really nice, actually. A giant hook. Someone's key. My mermaid tears, a big clear mermaid tear. Very nice. And I found dimes, 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 dimes. No old, no silver. Lincolns, Zinkins, no old. Started out being a nickel day, I thought, but actually it ended up being a good quarter day. All my quarters. Only in 1977. Then I found this coin with the King of Sweden on it from 1973. Gustav Adolf. And it actually has a nice, his head is on the front.
Alloy?
Very nice.
Alloy?
Yes.
Aluminum nickel? Or nickel copper?
Yes, copper, plated copper.
Nickel plated copper.
Nickel plated copper. And it was a great day for the beach. That was my first day. I found this sunglass holder and my ear loop. And my son found the other one further down the beach. So then I found, this was the nice piece of the day, an old-fashioned brass eyeglass frame. Anyway, it was a great day. The sun was out, a million people on the beach, and it was a great day. The car didn't get towed. And the quest goes on.
I am just mind blown by this hunt. It might have been one of my best. I went back to look for possibly one more piece out of what I'm thinking is historic stuff, and I ended up finding, you know, several more buttons and all kinds of things. And each part of this ended up being mind blowing. So I'm going to have to tell you the story of this spoon to start with. It's from the Shreve & Co. and has the 3 marks. It's a lion, an anchor, and then I believe a little bell, and then the sterling written into it. Here's some shots of what it looked like originally. Here's the condition of this one, and it's been worn so thin. It's been sandblasted by that beach, but never broke or wore all the way through, probably because it's sterling and it's so flexible. And then it was had the initials of the family in there. I'm assuming it's their family initials. You can see this is got the leaf on one side, a flower, and then it's 5 roses. And this was the Lancaster design, which lasted, as far as I could research, from 1850 up to the 1889, I think. And so that's incredible and personal. And this, you know, company did jewelry and gems and gold and silver, and opened a year after the gold rush started in San Francisco. They were one of the only buildings left standing after the 1906 earthquake. They're one, you know, they had just opened up a 15-story building. They locked stuff inside of a vault, and they had to wait for several weeks for the vault to cool down enough to open. Pretty incredible. They're, you know, so they're the oldest commercial business in San Francisco, and found this within sight of the city. So a relic of the past. And we'll look at these buttons and the other relics that I have gathered up from about a 10-foot area, so real question mark on this. Okay, so here's a close look at these that we found this time, which is actually what I went back for. And they're all cleaned up now, as clean as I'm gonna clean them up, because they were dug, and I kind of like the patina, but I did give them a strong scrub over and clean up. These two have these attachments on the back, and this one has this attachment on the back. All of them still with the part that went through the cloth, that I assume. And this one still has its rivet, all pieces of the rivet. This starts to become a mystery. We've also recovered another whole belt. The end, you know, both ends, the part that pushes through, we're missing the cloth. This, which has a reeded edge, but all of whatever was on it is gone. So I imagine that was another badge or insignia. These, you don't recognize them. This slides inside here and attaches to the front of this. And I believe they're called campaign badges. Can't remember. You know, there were stripes of those. So each one of these plates slides inside here. And you can see on this one where I've cleaned it up, there's the same markings again, V21N, as are on the back of a lot of these pieces. Now here's what I found last time that I was at this beach that sent me back. Notice, whole other belt set and a whole other belt set. Does this indicate 3 pairs of breeches or just the belts? You know, I'm assuming that these were attached to cloth. I don't know what kind of cloth. You know, it's been suggested the big old peat coats, I believe that. But at the same time, then we have, I hope I'm calling it right, campaign badges, your bars. So at least 2 belts. I believe this holds a tie. I don't know why so many pieces all within a 10-foot square area. So I was like a maniac. I went ahead and you know, removed a few inches of dirt around it. People thought I was finding gold coins and stuff, and I wasn't letting on to what I was finding too much either. So they probably thought I was onto a big old hoard, and I was in a way. But you know, I mean that with the most respect. I'm curious in this as a, you know, preserver of history. And I went out there to find modern finds, and so finding this, could be looking at World War II crate of stuff washed up there, a base that was there and got eroded off the cliff. You know, there's dozens and dozens of battlement sites all along the Pacific coast here because we were, you know, faced out towards Japan, and half of them are just ruins now. Their staircases and boat launches and barracks and all that are long gone. They're just spray painted cement buildings, you know, where once stood everything in entire existences. So I went over this area. I cannot get any more targets. I went over and over. The belts, you know, indicate several pairs of pants. But remember, this could have been one, could have been a crate of stuff, or it could have been just one duffel bag with, you know, all of their personals in it, and this is what's left, you know. Maybe they got off the bus, got back from World War II or Vietnam, I'm not even sure what era this is, and just decided not to carry their gear with them anymore. So, not sure exactly, but there they have sat until the huge waves uncovered them. And some of the regular items that we found were a livestock tag, is what I'm assuming it is. A key to home that doesn't have any lock marks cut into it, so it doesn't go anywhere. I don't know, some sort of metaphor in that. This, it's a crushed penny, but it was zinc, so the outer layer is worn off, and all I can read is cat something. Skull and bones, so appropriate for buried treasure on a beach. This cool little owl locket piece, or top to something that had a hinge, or bottom to something that had a hinge. You see the little fancy pattern in there. It's like a nickelish feeling metal that had some plating on it. There's the plating, and then like rosin over, looks like silverish metal on edge to define the borders inside there. This is a, it does not feel like pot metal, it feels like real silver, although I cannot find any hallmarks on the inside, but I've bought a lot of silver jewelry that didn't have any because it was handmade by the little stand owner. And it has that look of silver that you would buy at the fair. But we'll have to test it, so don't take my word on it until I can prove it for you. Here's the ring, the other ring, PT-L from Shane Company. Let me tell you what I figured out about that. When I went to the Shane Company site, I looked up their platinum rings, which this is from the Shane Company, and I looked up the male wedding bands, which this appears to be, and there was one very similar to this, and their prices seem to go, you know, between $1,200 for a 6mm, which is the width of this across band, up to, actually this is 7mm, up to, you know, $2,400, $2,400 for a platinum ring from the Shane Company, a you know, male wedding band. And I believe that that had some sort of brush finish in the middle, and then it's just got the little bevel dent on either side. And these were sitting there, like I say, it seemed like the price was basically in the thickness, the width of the band. And of course the styles, you know, the price varied a little bit, but it went between, you know, 12 and 14 for 6mm, and between 14 and 24 for 7mm, and this is 7mm across. So with their mark on it, that is just, you know, an amazing find. So made my hand. Trash targets. Melted aluminum was really a bane on this beach because you know, they've had a million fires and these storms rip the sand up so intensely, and you know, just strew everything everywhere. But that's why we had such a good hunt. Here's my coins. So these are all quarters, modern clad. These are dimes, 3 nickels, 5 older copper pennies, and then the rest are Zinkins. This little object here, which is pretty thick brass sinker. We got the car from Cars, a slug, bronze bullet, my half of the sunglasses. My mom found the other half, the arms at least. This is a piece of a number off of like a residence or something, I'm assuming, a mailbox looking thing. This grommet goes with these go with those. These are rocks that I found. So, really, really good hunt. Thank you for coming along with me on that. Remember, you can like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you next time.